Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the open mic part of the show. And starting off the open mic, we have Margaret Mary in Glasgow.
I'm sure actually what I was going to read, it was mentioning to Bridget. I'll read one I wrote in October. I had a situation where I was getting a bit bogged down by going to interviews and for jobs that weren't really there at all, you know, and being out of work doesn't suit me at all. So I wrote this poem, I called it Raw Recession. Trapped on the margins, fringes, outskirts of society, no betterment in sight, vultures prepared to circle, poverty line dropping, lower still, pickings plumb ripe for the plucking. I paced towards the door like an Indian dances around a campfire, no colourful dressing or drumbeat in celebration. Great clouds gather to mirror this must stench, begging for alms, assistance to aid survival. Stripped of my human right to acquire work, shame, guilt, grinds to gnaw around my carcass. Disappearing frame, skeletal bones prod and poke. Not famine Ethiopia, Ireland under siege, government borrowings, chasm chaos. I escape for another day without signing on the dotted line. Plug out my defunct fridge to avoid further waste. You take inventory, dig deep. Don't check for fuel or food. Empty longing bursts through the seat of my soul. Round my belly, right. I'll get that line wrong, I'll read it again. Empty longing bursts through my belly, round the seat of my soul. Much strength to push, shovel, climb from this pit. Disturb, rubble, dirt. Thank you.
Okay, this is The Emperor's New Playthings, and I wrote it during the last invasion of Gaza, and really it's about what happens when a landscape is bombed. The Emperor's New Playthings. In the sky above this place, the clouds are the walls of a broken dollhouse. The moon is a fragment of ceiling from which a lamp still swings in a motionless arc. The lamp illuminates the normalcy of paradox in this fabulous landscape. Inside the lamp, a genie weeps for his squandered wishes and rubs the glass of his magic ring. He prays for a poor fisherman to come like an angel of mercy, while outside, the last plastic angel melts in a river of swirling heat, white vaporous coils and toxic mud. Here and there, on a river of dust, a half-remembered promise bobs and dips like a paper boat, carrying the dreams of children to the edge of sentience. They watch the fragile vessel, its promise carried to a safer place by the Emperor's fiscal flood. In the broken dollhouse, a key hangs from the last unbroken link on the lamp's chain. The key winds a toy airplane, which hovers like a bird on a string. Meanwhile, the genie bears the sting and patiently recalculates the route to his ever-elusive escape. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bridget. Sheila O'Donnell.
Experience I had in Barcelona. After dark. After dark, true pimps and their johns cruise the simmering streets of Barcelona, eyeballing a procession of bleached blondes in strapless dresses, knee-high stockings and 6-inch heels, as they strut in search of easy prey. Deep into the small hours of sleeplessness, a marathon of abusive filth ricochets from poorly lit alleyways. I twist and turn, night after night, thinking, oh, what I wouldn't give to be at home in my Irish bed, even if it was only to listen to the cursed rain pelleting off my bedroom window. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Sheila. John Pinchman, who tells me he's going to treat us to work in progress.
Tonight is the Feast of the Epiphany, and this is a new poem, and this is also the title. Feast of the Epiphany. BBC Scotland saved our 2 quiet New Years. The bold Hogmanay bagpipes, drums, and fiddles, fireworks, but best of all, minutes past 12, lead crystal champagne in our hands, Burns's Auld Lang Syne, sung softly, more poignant each year on this night to look back, remembering those we've lost, drinking not with them, but to them. Scotland's ploughboy poet is honoured again a month after Christmas, Burns Night, a feast of haggis and single malt, poetry and song. Joyce and his 1904 Dublin are celebrated on Bloomsday, and like Burns, there should be a Joyce night too. Later, after this sharing of poetry in Limerick, something quieter will unfold when I'm back home, not with haggis, but rather a few large chips from Luigi's. Muscadet for her, single malt for me, as we again feast on John Huston's last masterpiece, The Dead, set on this night. Huston died before it was released. His swan song is Joyce's Dublin dinner party on Usher's Island, where not much seems to happen beyond the petty, separate vanities of all gathered together until the exquisitely recited poem, Donal Óg, transports a few of them, and Gabriel's speech, so fretted over, is finally happily behind him, and everything winds down, along with comic relief from poor, drunken Freddie Mallon, one of the last guests to leave. But like life, the sting is in the tale. As she comes down the stairs, Gabriel's wife Greta, by chance, hears Mr. Darcy singing the Lass of Aughrim. Huston frames her there, transfixed, like a stained glass window in a church, lost to this world. Back at the hotel, still distracted, she relives a haunting memory from her youth and collapses in tears to sleep, leaving Gabriel to his shattering epiphany on life, on vanity, on death, how one by one we're all becoming shades. Life imitates art. As we watch this story unfold on this night each year, we are further moved as, after the director, one by one, the actors too are becoming shades. Donald McCann, Frank Patterson, Sean McClory, Dan O'Herlihy, and on the 4th of January last year, Donald Donnelly, who played Freddie Malins. Gabriel's Epiphany is ours. We are not alone. Thank you.
The irrepressible Tom McCarthy.
Something petty and the horse-drawn plough, the reek, the wine and the cock, with the sheaf of corn and the thrashing flail, farming now seems mock. When the milking herd were milked by hand and when the milking herd were milked by hand, see? It's nice to make a fool of yourself up here anyway. It's good practice. We'll start again, see what we do. paddy and the horse-drawn plough, the reek, the wine and the cock, the shape of corn and the thrashing flail, farming now seems mock. When the milking herd were milled by hand and the harvest cut by scythe, I helped my father work the land under all four seasons sky. With the planting in the springtime and the digging in the fall, with the saving of the harvest, I could hear the corncrake call. But the winter months were long and hard. I watched my father age, with the grubber and the harrow, with the ragwort he would rage. With his old clay pipe you'd hear him think he'd check the clouds above, and with a smile he'd turn the soil, with the land he was in love. But time will wait for nobody, and the mowing bar came next. With the tractor and the combine, the corncrake lost its nest. And I often heard my granddad, to my father he would say, "'Tis nature that will suffer with the chemicals and spray." But I myself have memories of my mother making bread, with the oven on the fire and the crane overhead, with the kettle and the skillet hanging side by side. "Fetch some water for your mother," my grandma often cried. With the churning of the butter and the shaving of the pig, with the curing of the bacon and the skimming of the milk, with the feeding of the chickens and the baking of the bread. When my mother's day was done, it was time to go to bed. She no sooner touched the pillow when the cock began to crow. She no sooner had her children when they began to go. And one by one they left the land in search of better ways. But what they learned on the farm stayed with them all their days. Now that I'm a granddad, my son works the land, with his tractors and machinery and his pipe in his hand. With my grandson there beside him, he'll check the clouds above, and with a smile he'll turn the soil on the land my father loved.
Thank you very much, Tom McCarthy. Now we have Andy Curran.
Find me a river. Find me a river that flows neath the trees, through shadowy woodland, the birthplace of trees, to the valley eroding the secrets of time that the poet pursues in his search for a rhyme. The weary traveller stumbles on a path he trod once before, and in the river's chilly depths he plunging cleanses his sores, till at night under starry sky the philosopher's stage, with a stairway to heaven he does his utmost to engage. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Andy. Finally, our own Mark Whelan.
Shiny. Leapt, light from the great town, dancing all the sweet mysteries of Mary Chase Kitchen, dancing the rust wire fences, them to null, dancing the mud arcane as attic dust, dancing, dancing like a star falls in